It is day 4 of Podmas, and today I'm going to be talking to those of you who are tired of micromanaging your team. Okay, if you're tired of DIYing all of the moving pieces of your projects by what feels like all by yourself, then I want to share with you today on how getting a funding expert and that support can help elevate your program and overall efficiency. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So if you've never been through this process before, what process is that? The process of vetting out potential partners, the process of trying to secure funding, then having that support of an expert is key. And it's not just having somebody do it for you. One thing that my clients really love about my work is I am huge on the education component. It might be the homeschool mom in me. I'm not really sure, but I really like to make sure that people understand the reasoning behind why I do what I do. And so when you are new to this element, it's really important for you to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and say, okay, I know why this partner makes sense, and I know why this partner doesn't make sense. I know why we need to reach out, in this time frame and not in that time frame, or in this method and not in that method. There's so many different components that make up the funding process that the more you know, yes, it can be overwhelming, but it can also be refreshing, especially when you have been doing it yourself all of this time and wondering, why are you hearing crickets? Well, having someone who can tell you, well, this is probably why, right? Somebody who has been doing this and has those identifying just pieces as to why you haven't gotten as far as you want, that can be a total game changer for you, okay? Another reason is because having that additional consulting for things like verbiage, for things like templates, that is gold, okay? Why? Because you can do it yourself 100%. But what does that learning curve look like? Do you really have the time for that? Do you really have the time to take another course when you know very well that you sit in front of the computer on a webinar and on the side you are working from your phone? You're kind of paying attention, but you're kind of not. And then by week 4 of the module, you're not even paying attention anymore at all. You forget to actually log in. You forget to do the workbook homework. You forget that you were even on module 4. You go back to module 2 because that's the last thing you remember, right? You don't have the time to learn something totally new. You are trying to figure out the marketing. You're trying to figure out other relationships that you are trying to just nurture and establish. You're trying to create content. You're trying to figure out the programming and all of the changes that have come with the past now 2 years and navigating that. And you're trying to figure out, what does next year look like? What are the changes that I'm going to have to implement at this point as we continue through this pandemic? There's so many things that are occupying your mind right now. Do you really want to add figuring out how to secure funders, how to secure partners to your list? And what does that look like in terms of money? I didn't think so. Yeah, it's tough, right? When we translate our time into dollar amounts, you're like, oh my God. When we translate our time into other tasks, so for example, if I, get back 4 hours of work, let's just say a week, you know what I could do with those 4 hours? I could do additional homeschooling. I could create additional content. I could get farther ahead in some of my current proposals. There's so much that I can do in 4 hours. I can catch up on laundry, guys. I'm so behind. There's so many things that you can do with that time that it's really up to you in determining, okay, do I really want to learn something new, or can I work with an expert? And again, when you have somebody, and you guys know I'm huge on delegation, when you have somebody that can cut those corners for them, it's such a seamless process, because this person should be able to pretty much see your vision as you see it. They will be able to identify your blind spots. they will be able to overall elevate your event, not just by securing this, but in terms of knowledge, because now when the event comes around the following year, you know exactly what to do. You now just have a built-in network that you can re-tap into and say, hey, do you want to come back for another event? That's invaluable. So if you are considering hiring a funding expert, and I really just want to be clear here, when we're talking about funding expert, we're talking about somebody that doesn't only look at grants, okay? Because I know that that is a common misconception. Grants are long term. We have the opportunity to work with small businesses, to work with brands on a shorter time frame. And so that is really where my concentration has shifted into, is not only providing long-term solutions, but short-term solutions as well. And so if you're in a position where you're kind of in a crunch, you have a project that's coming up within the next 3 to 6 months, and you need to get just people to help you save money, people to help get you in front of new communities, to build hype around your event, to fill the void in certain areas of your event that you would love to showcase, but just don't have the funds to do that, then this is the perfect solution for you. Visionary, I hope that I have given you some food for thought today. Join me in tomorrow's final episode from this year's 5-part Podmas series, and I've got a very special announcement for you. Have a blessed night, and I will see you tomorrow.
Before you go, don't forget to rate, review, and share this podcast with a friend that needs to hear it. See you in next week's episode.